What's going on, everybody? Welcome to your sun and rising sign horoscopes for this new moon in Taurus. And also Jupiter in Taurus, which we just talked about in another live that I did. But yeah, it's going to be more focused, I guess, on just the micro of the here and the now, this lunation, and the next couple weeks up until the full moon in Sagittarius. So appreciate you all. Hope that you enjoy these, find them helpful in any way, shape, or form. And I will have timestamps at the end once the live is over, so you can go listen to your sign, or if you missed the live, they'll be in the description below. So hope everybody's doing well. Let's see what this new moon in Taurus has for us all. All right, we'll start with Aries. Numero uno. All right, Aries, new moon in your second house, which is just lit up. Jupiter's now there, North Node's there, Jupiter, North Node are getting ready to conjunct, Mercury's direct. I mean, this is, if this was ever a time to really start putting effort into what you want, to what brings you comfort, security, if it's money, if it's confidence, if it's self-worth, whatever it is, this is your time to build security around everything that you have, everything that you are, to amplify quality of life. So this is a great opportunity, Aries, with this new moon, and especially moving forward here, because your ruling planet Mars is coming into Leo during this lunation also, and that's 5th house, and it's going to get out of Cancer in your 4th house. So huge upgrade for you, Aries. Like, your creative potential is so strong, and you're going to want to use it. You're going to want to not abuse it, the opposition to Pluto, but 100%, like, you want more, you want better, you want good, whatever you want. This is like, what do you want, Aries? What do you want? Stop playing games. Don't be, like, the emotions are going to kind of wear off. Yeah, there's big desires, but this is your chance to amplify abundance in your life. Whatever abundance is to you, it's time to create it. So you're going to have to figure that one out for yourself, but time to create the abundance. Pluto square Jupiter, Mars square Jupiter, Mars square the North Node. Pluto's starting to square these nodes here before they ingress into your sign with the North Node. It's important, I think, to understand that, like, there could be conflict of interest with people, different desires with other, maybe family, maybe your home life, maybe something is just kind of keeping you feeling stuck. And this is the opportunity to build your way out of being stuck, to create what's moving forward, to create the powerful identity that can have what it wants. And then the sun's also going to move into Gemini, real quick afterwards. So not only everything else with the Taurus in the second house for you, but the expression, the understanding of everything that you're learning about value, all the wisdom that you're acquiring about what you want, what you can have, what you can build, what's sustainable, focusing on really what your needs are, which is something that I believe Aries can be very, very good at all the time. So, be that, be that. Mars is also going to start squaring these nodes, your ruling planet. So I think that there is this, like, identity check, because maybe there is the transformation of beliefs about your own self-worth, kind of going through some sense of a change just internally about what you might want, what's better for the future, what kind of people do you want to be around, what is going to make your home life better, what is going to make security better, what's going to make your bank account better. That's what a lot of this new moon energy is about, and it's about creating what is better. And I think being strong and knowing your value and knowing your worth is key. And when you have that strength and you have that courage, like, boom, bada boom. Like, if the passion's there, the heart's in it, and you identify with it, then you will creatively actualize quality in your life. But you almost have to, like, re-believe in yourself in a better way. It's like old beliefs or doubts or wounds, or things that it's almost like bad self-talk, especially for you, Aries. You might not show people, it might just be inside yourself, but, like, these are the things that have to, like, dissolve. And even Saturn in your 12th is trying to dissolve a lot of situations that you've built a lot of structure around that are almost like toxic, right? As the South Node's finishing in your 8th. So you're like really dissolving toxicity in your life to literally have better and to actualize it and create it. Don't stop that because family or friends or a romance, something is trying to put you down. Like, you gotta know you're the bomb.com and transcend situations, and be adaptable, because with the sun coming into your third, it's like you got to be able to adapt, you got to be able to change, you got to be mutable. Keep looking for excitement, keep expressing yourself. This is a great opportunity for you to express your way into the physical manifestation of creation that you want. And also, the new moon is sextile Neptune. Even Mars is still trying Neptune. Pluto's making great aspects to this new moon in your second. Mars is making great aspects. I mean, really, the sun and the moon for the new moon are getting aspected bomb.com for this. So, like, yeah, there's a change of beliefs about yourself that has to change to actualize things. And the only way to make it happen is to do it, to put effort in, until, there's something for you that's like, you can't just sit down and just wait. But at the same time, rushing things could be an issue, or being over identified in your ego, being too overpowering. That's the thing too. It's like, well, people could feel like they're the opposition in your life right now, but is it really yourself pushing people away? So there's different things too, and is that rooted in any type of insecurity? So as long as you could, I think, come to a bigger understanding and belief within yourself about your truth, you'll be just fine and you'll see things well. But, it's just, this is like your time to change things, to be adaptable for better, and to know you can, and to know you are bomb.com. But that doesn't mean you got to be, arrogant either at the same time. So stoked for you, Aries. I feel like Mars coming in, just Mars alone coming into your fifth, is so good for you. And like, really finding the courage to build happy, a happy reality, a happy life, quality life that's fun, stimulating, steady, secure. But it's like getting out of the insecure, toxic, whether they're mental traps or they're your own, kind of stuff you got to work on. That's the important thing too. Because with Pluto in your 11th squaring all this in your second, and even a south node squaring your ruling planet, Mars in the 8th, like, it could be so easy to somebody else, deflect. You just gotta pay attention to yourself and not think that it's something else that's taking your power away. You gave the power away by letting somebody else, even think that they got close to taking it. And that's the biggest warning I would have for you, is don't do that. Otherwise, bomb, Aries. Bomb. All right, Taurus. First house. Woo. New moon. Jupiter's in your first. North node. I mean, a lot of forward-moving energy. This is a very empowering time. Definitely want to, like, grab the bull by the horns, if you will, Taurus. This is trying to take action here. This is finding a lot of identification, amplifying yourself, showing yourself, and really not being, like, slow about it. I mean, I feel like, especially for you with all this first house, like, you're kind of like getting a lot of pressure to make action happen. Like, you can't, like, sit back on the sidelines. Like, this is the new moon to, like, just actualize, activate, go forth. In life, to go move forward, start a project. If you've been thinking about a project, start it. If you've been thinking about how to make more money, do it. If you've been thinking about how to, feel more pretty or look better, do it. Like, just do whatever it is. Like, this is like your opportunity to start. It's a great start. Great start. And your ruling planet Venus is just chilling out in the third here. I mean, yeah, there's a little semi-square action to the new moon, but it is going to start squaring Chiron during this lunation too for you. So I feel like that's something you need to be, it's almost like you could know that something's going to feel better and have the understanding and want to communicate and express, but then there's these, like, interesting little maybe thoughts or feelings you get that limit you, that make you feel like, the universe is out to get you, or some kind of a trust issue. with just the universe, maybe not even a person, but maybe even a distrust in your subconscious or your intuition. And, you're at a point where it's like, you got to just take action at the same token. Like, don't let the unknown scare you from making it seen and real and starting whatever it could be. Like, if you're going to believe that, oh, I can't start that because this won't work, it's like you haven't even given a shot. Like, you got to give it a shot. This is like, take a shot. Take your shot. Shoot your shot. Mars is going to finish up in your third, and of course it's squaring Jupiter in your first. It's going to come into your fifth house, which I think is, your fourth house, which I think is, putting a big focus here on what makes you feel safe and secure, comfortable in life. It does slow things down when you have so much of that energy in your first house. But I do think that the square to Jupiter and the nodes kind of makes it like this major gut feeling, gut instinct that kind of just has to be, something's got to go. Something's got to move. Like it just has to. And with Venus there near your third too, like if it's not like exciting or stimulating or you're bored right now, like you got to do something to not be bored. Or you can kind of sink yourself into a hole. And I would hate to see that with so much empowering energy in the first. Pluto also making, these squares to Jupiter, opposition to Mars. It's like, it's a weird battle between, I think, wanting to really take the next step for accomplishments, to do something really big, but also like your mind is like, again, kind of almost like an enemy. You're almost like, it can feel like you're at war with your mind because you have these desires you feel, but it's like, can I, can I, yes, you damn right you can, Taurus. Just come to your truth, figure it out, and build the groundwork. Start from the bottom and get to the top. If you're already at the top, keep building upwards. Like, just don't talk yourself out of things. I think for you, it's about impulse right now. Like, you have to believe that impulsive action will take you somewhere, hopefully where you want to go. Like, I think that that's super important for Tauruses. And then the sun's going to come into your second house. And it's like, there's an area where I think there's so much in your first that it's like there's a big push, but Mars coming into your fourth and even the sun coming into your second is like, I have everything I need. I'm fine. I'll chill. But then that's like your mind just not wanting to accept a deeper urge that's like, yeah, actually, I do want to at least try this out. Like, it doesn't have to be like life-changing something right now, but like a start of anything will pay off. And it would be worth your while. And it would, I think help you build a ton of confidence as you move forward here. So I think for you, it's like just finding the confidence to act and then staying persistent, which you're great at. So I do like this new moon for you and kind of where things are heading. I don't think it's a crusher by any means. I think it's a super empowering time. It's just like, how can you not talk yourself out of the empowerment? And if you are just being a real Taurus and just confident and steady and know what you want and you're going to go for it, then you're going to manifest it. Like, you're going to create a lot. And it's going to be, and it's like upping the quality, and that's even sun coming into the second too. It's like if you keep acting and moving forward right now and keep, from the inside and, literally maybe even home stuff, like inside of yourself to even home stuff, family stuff, like really make that solid, then it's just adding and amplifying and expressing more quality that you're getting out of reality. And even Neptune, like with the sextile's nice. Again, Mars is sextile, Pluto's sextile, this new moon. There's like bomb energy here for starting the thing in life. Taking on maybe a little bit more responsibility. It's like laziness isn't going to get anything going, right? So you just go. It doesn't have to be like overworking. I feel like you could also be in a place where you feel like you have to maybe overwork for something. I don't think it's necessarily overworking yourself either. It's just like you'll know the right, amount of energy and effort to put into something that's going to make things better and get the ball rolling for, I think, projects and things that you really want to go down, to go down. So that's kind of where I'm at. For you, is it's just like time to build the foundation up, time to feel really empowered by everything you do and start, and not worrying about what hasn't been done, but just doing, you know. Any kind of like worry isn't going to help you get something done. It's just the action of doing it that gets it done. And I think you'll benefit greatly from not sitting back and waiting, because I think that you can feel there's a deeper urge that something will hold a lot of weight in your life if you go after it. And I do believe for you, it is that time. So, major empowering time for you. Time for you to make decisions for yourself. Time for you to like grab the bull by the horns. It's your life. So make sure that you're living it and taking charge of it. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. Oh, and happy end of the birthdays to you, Tauruses, too. All right, Gemini. A lot of 12th house energy. I mean, it's so, the 12th house is just a fascinating house. I feel like that's probably the most common house people are Googling or interested in or trying to understand, because it's just so, it's everything. It's just everything. So it can feel like it's just an absolute mess for some Geminis out there, especially subconsciously. You could feel a little trapped at times. Like this is not the easiest lunation, and it's not the easiest transit just having Jupiter come in there. But I swear, just the ability for you to let things go, to not get trapped in your mind, to not get trapped in subconscious sort of patterns and thoughts, but to just be, and to just take time for yourself, and to take time to quiet the mind down. Anything you can do to find some solitude and erase any kind of chaos, you're going to be great. You're going to be just fine, you know. But it is kind of like a test of faith. And it is like there can be so many anxieties and worries here. And it can feel like everything's like snowballing in on you. Or everything's just compounding everything that could possibly go wrong could feel like it's compounding. And that's, the South Node, like getting you so mental about everything and perfection, and it's just chaos because nothing's perfect in the 12th house. Because perfection is a mess. Like God created this perfect universe or multiverse or whatever it is, but to us, there's imperfections everywhere. And it's just like, let things go, water off a duck's back. And then it comes into Gemini season, and you get your birthday by the next time I'll talk to you, Geminis, and it's like there's a ton of identification coming about how to move in a direction, how to make choices. Like everything's going to start to become more, okay, here's a path, here's a way. Now I just got to take it. Now I just got to go and, find that courage, find that just expression that I want to be. And it's all coming to that place, but there's so much that could be so noisy and messy that it's like, what the? And I would say for some of you Geminis out there too, that can quiet the mind and can really like chill and, get into some kind of a meditative state, and to not, overindulge in whether it's certain pleasures or whether it's some form of escapism, but escaping inward into yourself you're gonna find so much enlightening qualities through this time. Jupiter's gonna amplify that. So there's a lot of like enlightening that's coming through what can feel like chaos or just a mess in life, or a mess emotionally, very sensitive maybe. There's a light at the end of the tunnel that I do think this does bring, and in the end, it's going to bring you closer to God, bring you closer to yourself, understanding your subconscious better, and it's like you don't have to have every single thing figured out or understood right now, Gemini. Nothing has to make sense, and as long as you can be okay with that and still find empowering moments and be empowered, you won't be so tripped out, I swear. And for you, Mercury's, making a great aspect to Saturn in your 10th house. So like, yeah, Mercury's like not stoked in your 12th. It can't figure all the, quantum mysteries of the universe out. It can't make linear sense of every little imperfection or every little mess or every little thing. But what it can do is it can like hone in on what's really important. And instead of losing or getting lost in everything, pay attention to what's important. There's things in life that matter, and there's things in life that we worry about that don't matter. For you, it can be so easy to lose yourself in things that don't matter, when you have a great gift right now to lose yourself in the things that do matter. And you can lose yourself in a good way, in a positive way. And also an empowering way. Because you can find like certain things that do make sense, that you do want to put a lot of attention to. And then take on responsibility for those things. And even Neptune in the 10th is like making great aspects to this new moon in your 12th. With all this 12th, it's such a good time for you to dream and to have the big vision and to, create some kind of a fairy tale. And I think even Neptune the 10th is like, if you want to reach higher, like what is your fairy tale? Like what is something that you would put at the top of a mountain and you would go up every step of that mountain to go get because it's worth it to you? Have that dream, have that vision. Like, I think it's a great time to set goals with Mercury and Saturn and even Neptune here. Like, dream about something that you can accomplish, something, real, but also something that's imaginative, something that it's almost like test yourself. Like, if you don't think that's possible, why don't you shift that, belief? And Jupiter and Pluto are in square, and Pluto's in your 9th house, and it's not going to, stay there. It's getting ready to come back into your 8th. I think there's still some transformative, aspects that are just a little bit of tailoring at the end here for you there. And then it's like reforming your faith and, the ability to believe and your beliefs in general. So, yeah, it's pretty cool in a sense that this is giving you a big vision. And you don't want to feel disempowered by the big vision. You want to feel empowered by it and realize that maybe right this moment is just time for you to get closer to yourself spiritually, closer to yourself, intimately, emotionally, and have like a big positive outlook on what you can make happen moving forward, and not so lost in every little crazy thing from the past or just something out of place in the moment. So it's like dream bigger and then have faith that in a very short amount of time, all of a sudden, everything's going to make a lot more sense than maybe it does now. Or maybe it makes sense now because you're seeing a bigger vision. Mars finishing up in your 2nd house, coming into your 3rd house. That's going to be nice too. I feel like that's going to, it is kind of getting your mind really activated with Mars. Mars is such an activator. And I don't think that's a bad thing, but it is square Jupiter in your 12th. And it's just like, there's a lot of thoughts, your mind could really make you angry, could upset you, especially with Pluto. It's like a challenge. That is the challenge. It's between your way of linear thinking, which you are every bit that, Mercury ruled Gemini, fact-based, information, take it in, stimulating. Your job is to just not let your thoughts anger you and to change your thoughts, change your beliefs. And by doing that, you're going to change circuits in your brain that are going to make you feel more empowered and bring more, hopefully happy, fun thoughts. Like that's, Leo third house, Gemini, like you're meant to be. That's why you're exciting and fun. That's why people love to be around you, is because you're fun to talk to. There's a jovialness, a happiness, don't forget that. You got to like get out of dark thoughts and patterns and get back to like really creative, expressive, fun, happy thoughts and get back to like that you. And if you already are, then it's going deeper and, further for more of that abundance. The abundance is very spiritual for you right now. And that can feel very weird with these nodes and Mars and Pluto, because it's just like too many little things. And it's like you could be not seeing the big picture because it's just so locked and loaded and honed in on every little thing. So, yeah, that's what I got for you. Extremely abundant spiritual new moon. You're like, it could feel like a lot's dissolving and it's just getting ready to amplify. Everything's getting ready to amplify who you are, your expression, laughter, fun. Like, this is a time to like think about the good stuff. And that's like, I think, switching a belief pattern that's really positive for you. So, all right, Cancer. Not new moon in the 11th house does not suck. Does not. So, and having Jupiter there in the North Node, very, I think, creative time, but very like envisioning a future, creating groups, bonds, people. I feel like some really cool people could be coming into your life right now. You could really be maybe leading, some kind of a group activity. Something about people is just going to be really positive. And it's just like, it is ideals. It's like seeing a future. It's being unique. If you've been in your shell, Cancer, this is your time to break out of the shell. This could be a very liberating time for you. You could mix things up, try something new. It's almost like it could be a very reinventing quality. It's like what's going to make people drawn to you. So if you feel like, oh, I want to do things with people and blah, 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 but nobody, like, well, just be you more. Stop hiding. Don't hide behind the shell. This is like a more eccentric energy is positive for you. And I think too, like just doing things your own way. You don't have to do things like anybody else. Like do it your way. Like McDonald's, have it your way. Then the sun comes into your 12th house and, I think that helps sort of the imagination and the envision and like, okay, I can see like this is, a lot of this is like future building, whether it's with people, friends, just ideas that you have. Like you could really get into a place where you can really start to dream and envision where things are going. And the only way that you wouldn't do that is if you decided to numb away from these crazy, unique, awesome, weird ideas that are more unique to you, but maybe you hid in the shell and, went down a weird place subconsciously. But yeah, I'm pretty stoked on on an 11th house new moon for you. I think you're going to really like it. I mean, you do have Jupiter in your 8th. I'm sorry, Pluto in your 8th, square Jupiter in your 11th. Mars is going to come into your 2nd house, opposing that Pluto. Of course, it squares to your 11th. Like, you just got to keep the ball moving. You got to keep moving your goalposts right now into a future and not be afraid. Not be scared. Don't let fears stop you. It's like slow and steady, but towards your future. And like, I think really too, like, finding your confidence is so important. It could just pop the top for you. So like, if there's any like insecurities, this could be a big, I think, reprogramming for you as well, of getting out of insecurities and becoming more, I mean, really, especially like Leo 2nd house for Cancer, just more you, more expressive, more eccentric is another quality here. And that will bring, again, more quality into your life. And, you know, I think another thing too, Cancers, is this trust is so important. Like, you don't have to do it all on your own. Like, you actually are in a great opportunity to get help from people. And, like, you could want to push people away and just, I can do it, I can do it. Don't. You don't need to. This is just, you need to have faith in others. You need to trust others. You don't have to overpower. You don't, like, this is such a, again, it's a great time for you in your future, but it's not about, like, you overpowering or being, like, so hung up on what you can do, but, like, learning that this is the time where people want to give you a helping hand. People are magnetized towards you. People see you as, I don't want to say the word asset, but people are going to start to see you as a valuable asset. And it's not like it's not like you haven't been a valuable asset, but this is something that people are going to start to notice about you from this. And, you know, these two opposing planets, like, yeah, square Jupiter, but again, great aspects to this new moon. And your moon ruled in the 11th. So it's very interesting. Again, it's like you could really be sort of a leader and a pioneer and a trailblazer for something super special for the collective right now. And, like, you have to work with people to get that. Like, everybody has to win. And you can't really win and be a part of a team if you don't trust your teammate. It's really hard to have a good team in life, whether it's a relationship or literally a sports team or something, if you cannot trust the person next to you. So I think that's a really big point to hit on. And Mercury and Saturn are in good aspect, Neptune and the Sun. So there's really good 9th, 11th house aspects, which can be extremely expansive if you want to, like, stay on it and stay persistent. And, like, not limit yourself. And I feel like the limit would be by not trusting and being able to work with others. Like, you gotta learn to trust in a new way. And I mean, that, look, this is going to be like a 20-year lesson with Pluto in Aquarius for you. So it's not like these lessons have to be learned overnight, but, like, little steps go a long way into creating your future. And it can be bigger than you could ever imagine, but you can't feel like it's consolidated or just being brought in on you. You have to still see the bigger picture and believe in that. And I think really pull courage to trust. I think that's the big thing with the South Node and Pluto and Mars. And it's both the dispositors square it, right, in your 5th. Like, you could be way too headstrong or egocentric and not want people to help when it's like, just for Christ's sakes, people want to make your life better. You don't have to hide from them, isolate, push people away. So if you're out there creating, you know, with people and being a good nurturing Cancer and supporting of others, you're going to do great right now. And I think that this is a super positive new moon because people want to show up for you. You just have to let them in. And if you let them in, you're good. And don't block a future and don't suppress beliefs and goals, you know, and you're going to crush it. So All right, Leo, 10th house. Whoa, baby, there's a lot of responsibility. There's a lot of responsibility. I have a lot of planets in my 10th house. There's always something to do. Always something. So it's taking on different tasks, responsibilities. This could be huge for career. I mean, this could be like really motivating for you to either start a career, to start working for some, thing that you really want to achieve in life, putting a lot of effort in. It takes time. Like you can't expect everything to just happen right away, but every little bit of effort that you put into your life, you'll get, the recognition for it eventually. And you'll get the payout and you'll be seen. And, I said it in the Jupiter, in the 10th, it's like horoscope, like people build statues, big lion statues all over for you. If you really do, like, I think, get serious about what is going to make you, whether it's more money, whether it's a better career, whether it's something that you just value, whether it's more confidence around people, whatever it might be, just put effort in and you will get big results. Jupiter will definitely give you a lot. And this new moon saying, yep, go be that, go be that CEO of your life. Go make some big decisions. Go make some calls. Start something. This is definitely a great opportunity to build on something that already has value and to put more effort into the things that you want to achieve. Or if you're feeling like you don't know what your achievements are, there's a great opportunity to decide what you want to achieve and to put effort in there. And your ruling planet, the sun, of course, is going to come into the 11th house, which is great too, because I feel like this is great, especially with Pluto in your 11th. I'm sorry, in your 7th, and then getting ready to make that trine over to your sun. Like, again, for you too, people want to help you. It doesn't mean that you have to take on every responsibility by yourself. I feel like people want to be there. And it would be easy to push people away with Mars coming into your sign and opposing Pluto, like almost at a war with other people's desires and your own. But if you can learn to, let people give you a hand and, build solid groups, and also like I think it's like be boss in the 10th. So not bossy to where you're bossing people around, but I think when you start to see these innovative things pop up as we come into Gemini season, it's about taking the action and taking, the leadership role, and especially with Mars crossing into your first house. Like you get to be the leader, and kind of show the way. But again, if you do it all by yourself, it's just going to be too much. Jupiter will amplify all of that in the 10th. And with the North Node, it's like you can't do it all alone. So I think you have to know how to delegate a little bit here. Like what you need to take on and what you need, maybe some help with in life that can help everybody reach their goals. And it could be super positive for that. But I think it's going to feel like pressure because all these planets are squaring your, a lot of your Leo stuff. If you're a Leo sun or just your ascendant, just that first 10th house, like it definitely wants to handle business, get things done. But it does feel like this like pressure from society or from people that can be a little hard to tame. It's not about what people want from you. It's about seeing your vision and going after it and finding people that want to help you with it. And you don't have to change anybody's mind. Yeah. So Saturn, Mercury, very nice. Again, I think that's just something positive too, because your deeper desires can be achieved. If you just can hone in on what they are and stay focused, like you'll just penetrate into everything you want. And I feel like that can be really positive for relationships and friendships and groups and whatever innovations or uniqueness you're trying to bring to the table. But again, it's like Saturn in the eighth can, like, you could block yourself from people or intimate, situations, or there could be trust issues coming up. And with Pluto in your seventh and all these, it's like, God. So, you also have to, I think, realize how much people can benefit and bring help into your life, and to trust. And it'll probably help you accomplish a lot of things here too. And there is a side to it with Pluto here where I feel like people are a really good reflection. So, sometimes I think too, and I think Mars will give you a good identification and have you, put that focus more on yourself than maybe, kind of in imagination or, different areas. Like, things will make more sense if there are complications that are going on. Like, you're going to have more of a identification about everything, which will help you with the right boundaries. Because that's a big thing too with Saturn in the eighth. It's just, you got to learn boundaries. Like, you have to learn to trust and receive, but at the same time, you have to learn the boundaries of life. So this is solid in a sense because it's really helping you see certain truths and what's going on deeper and who to trust, how to trust, so that you can make really big goals and achievements pop off in your life. And maybe, hopefully Neptune making great aspects to this new moon is also something that dissolves some of the fears around the next step to what you want to accomplish. Or gives you some kind of spiritual motivation to initiate really proper action in like a responsible, dedicated manner so that you can really achieve something big here. Because it's a great opportunity for you to take whatever goals or achievements to the next level, or if you don't like the ones that you already had in place, this one is like set the big goals and achievements and hone in on it, and the vision can really come true, and you could find more through effort than maybe ever before. Maybe ever. I don't know if that's true or not, but at least right now you'll find a lot of that. All right, Virgo. Ninth house. Not bad. You got a lot going on in the eighth, so this should feel a lot better for you. Really like putting this energy into play with the new moon. Even like this last 28 days with the sun, you still could have had a lot of eighth house energy where it's just like really deep, maybe emotional, penetrated, maybe went through, certain things leaving. Now it's like, gosh, Jupiter in your ninth, North Node, Mercury direct. Like, this is like, look at the positive side of life. Go expand. Go see what's out there. Go explore. Travel if you want to. Like, this is your chance to learn and see and grow. This is a time of expansion. Big time. And you don't want to limit yourself. And I think Pluto, playing around here in your sixth house for a little bit, and the squares to Jupiter and the nodes. I mean, I've said this a lot with Jupiter coming into your ninth house. Like, it's not time to play small ball. It's time to be particular. It's like you're like super Virgo now with Pluto coming into your sixth for the next 20 years. Like, you have a cape. Every Virgo is walking around with a superhero cape because no spot of, dust is going to go unnoticed or unchecked, But it's, you got to, see the bigger picture at the same time, especially right now. This is like, there's so much to learn and see and grow. There's so much expansion that wants to happen, and it can change your life. Like, that's, I think, the biggest thing is like, you can make every day more fun. You can make a routine around things that are more uplifting, more positive. Feel like you're learning more. Feel like you're closer to the divine, closer to God every day. Like, so it's just like taking the mundane and turning it into something extravagant in many ways. And it's just a belief shift, and it's tweaking things and making changes and being adaptable. So I'm stoked for this new moon for you. I feel like it's gonna really help you out. It's gonna like help you see like what's important, what's not, and how to expand past the non-important things so that you can just stay focused on the detail of the expansion in your life and where things can go, and dream and have faith and like really point your, arrow somewhere far away over the mountain and be willing to go on the journey. And if a detour comes up, a detour comes up, so what? Enjoy the detour. It's part of the journey. Life's the journey right now. It doesn't have to go according to perfect plan. And as long as you see that, I feel like you're going to make every little adjustment that you need to just set a more like, whether it's a healthy life, a more scheduled life that fits your lifestyle. It will really purify and clean a lot of things, but in a way that is more abundant and happy, and not so like eh. And yeah, sun's gonna come into your 10th house, which I think is outstanding for you for like getting things done, taking on responsibility, putting in effort, work, looking at your goals, trying to make something happen, start a project. Like, this is a great opportunity to build the structure of the journey or the dreams or your beliefs. So that's super positive. For you, Mercury, again, ruling planet like Gemini, and that sextile to Saturn is bomb.com. Of course, Saturn's in your 7th here, and it's like, okay, it's doing its checks and balances on your relationships and contracts in life and what's in balance, what's out of balance. And I think that Mercury can see that with the sextile to Saturn. And it kind of gets to see, oh, okay, this isn't really where I want to put my attention. I want to put my attention on something bigger. I feel like Mercury's going to want to put its attention on something bigger, and it's probably the bigger that brings more balance and alignment into your life. But also, being able to express yourself and have serious talks about maybe the changes that you want to make in life is super important too. And it'll be your ally to have those conversations, to share your beliefs, especially with other people, because it'll bring things closer to center if things are lopsided and out of balance. Neptune's in the 7th, of course, making that sextile to the new moon, which is interesting because I feel like that can kind of heavily idolize other people right now, and maybe want other people to kind of lead the way on the journey. Maybe, it's like it's kind of weird, like, oh, it's either like people, maybe they can show me the path on, they can put it, the coordinates in for me. And I think they absolutely can, but I think it's important for you to still remember you can do that yourself as the sun's coming in, and as even Mars coming into your 12th, and then with so much in the 9th. It's more spiritual. It's like your relationship to your intuition and your spirituality has more of the right directions to get you where you need to go on your journey, and to show you what can be changed or amplified, and what doesn't, make sense, or what isn't in alignment. But that's also where Mars coming into your 12th, and that opposition to Pluto is very like mentally stressful for you too. So it's also letting go of any kind of judgment is super important. With Mars and Pluto in opposition in your 12th and 6th like that, especially at 0 degrees, very like judgment, whether it's against yourself, another person, the universe. Like, if you're just way too harsh of a critic on anything in life, it's going to be very, very stressful. And I would hate to see you go through that. So like, when something is dirty, or when somebody does something stupid and you want to just pick them apart, this is a great opportunity to just not, and just take the higher road, and just, whether it's walk away or go, just, I feel like Virgos are really expanding past a lot of limiting things here. So like anytime you take the higher road and just deal with your own, stuff, whether it's spiritual, physical, whatever it is, it's going to be better that way if you can take the time to figure that out by yourself before just casting it as a judgment on everything. And then again, it's like you got to be gentle with yourself too here. So I feel like there is this like, you could almost be gentle with others, Neptune, with that sextile to the new moon. It's almost like easy to be gentle with others, even with Saturn there, but Saturn's still making, pretty good aspects to Jupiter here and the North Node and Mercury. So Saturn's your friend. So yeah, it's almost like it's almost like easy to get along with people and you're like seeing better in others, but you could be way too hard on yourself. So yeah, I think you're expanding past a lot of that. A lot of those, whether it's beliefs or self-talk, self-dialogue, you need to start looking at yourself as, king or queen energy, and not in an overpowering, way in the 12th house, but in like a very spiritually pure way, like a very divine way in the 12th. And it's not about escaping so much as it is just taking moments to understand who you are, to understand why you might feel some way or identify something a certain way, or understand why something might subconsciously trigger you. Anytime you can do that, you're expanding and growing past anything, and you're going to learn so much, and you're probably going to read books and find philosophy and maybe travel, and there's a lot of positives here for you, so I'm not trying to make it negative, but Mars in the 12th is a weird one. Creativity, music, anything, like these are things that are, I feel like, it's the things that make you happy and feel more abundant. The more you identify with those on a very deep spiritual and intuitive level, the better. The negative stuff or the addictive stuff, those are the things that are going to feel like it's just over amplified in the 9th house, where it just feels like a mess. But yeah, God, what a great opportunity for, I think, growing. So this is a great growth moment that's getting you set up to like really, I think, really build something and have deeper mergers with people. And gosh, I think just to have it's almost like setting the routine that is magic, setting the routine that is so in alignment that you're like literally stoked to do everything on your checklist, whether you have a checklist or not. You're like stoked to go about the day because of this optimistic quality and this sort of like big light that's going off. So I feel like Virgos are getting a big like, whoa. It's kind of a wake up call. All right, Libra. 8th house, boom. A lot of 8th house for you. So there could be a lot of transforming effects. Jupiter's here in your 8th. On one side, this is trying to bring a lot of connection into your life. It's trying to bring a lot of merger. It's trying to help you trust people. The North Node's there. For you too, people want to, I think people really want to help you, but there can be walls up, there can be insecurities, there can be some fears. It's almost like you have to break out of comfort zones, go into a little bit of fear, go into a little bit of scariness, or something could happen that kind of forces you there. And it's just like charging through it, not being necessarily like passive about a situation, but going into the fire when you feel like maybe you have to. That'll bring a lot of value and a lot of quality to your life, and I think show you that whatever maybe was scaring you, or whatever maybe a trust issue was, or maybe something, deeper than that, even with the 8th house, it'll show you that you can transmute any of that. And you have a great opportunity to alchemize any lead in your life into gold. And I think that's super positive, but at times it could feel very emotionally heavy or dark or like everything's getting ripped away, especially things if you're really attached to them. The eighth house could like literally rip things out of your claws. Um, so it's definitely trust that if you do have to let go of something, that it's rebirthing and bringing something else into your life and making room. And it's also a very passionate time for you too. So regardless of any situations like that, it's like really hone in on your passions and make it's good too to merge those passions with other people. That can be something very positive, and people do it. It's such a magnetic place, the eighth house. It's either extreme magnetic, boom, positive negative come together, or it's positive positive and they fly away. So you could just be seeing a lot of magnetic, energetic, whether it's people or things, money. It doesn't really matter what it is, but there's just the magnets are flipping. They're either coming together or going apart. So don't try to force, two positives together. It won't work. And even if you do get them together for a second, the moment you move and get comfortable for a second, they're going to fly apart and then you're pissed. And you wasted your time and energy and passion and effort. I don't think you want to do that. Pluto in your 5th, Mars in your 10th. Mars is going to come into your 11th house. Again, another time for go do something weird, do something unique, do something special. Hang out with people. I feel like, again, this is a good opportunity for Libra to really embrace people, to kind of and I feel like Libras do love people, so this is a very positive thing, I feel like. But maybe there's been issues that have been having Libra question certain things, or there might be some insecurities getting brought up to where there's a little block or a barrier. I think you got to figure out why that's there so that you can really bring a lot to the table. I feel like with Pluto in the 5th and even Mars in opposition in the 11th, when it comes into Leo, is just such an interesting opposition about you could have these deep, deep desires and feel like it's all about you. But so much of this is also a conscious desire that your inner desires need to merge with something else. Whether it's a group, a project, something you're inventing for the future, it doesn't really matter, but something unique and special. It has to incorporate both you and people. And that's what you're here to do, right? You're the sign of relationships, balance, harmony. This is a great opportunity to bring more harmony and balance into your life and realize that your desires actually do merge with other desires, but you have to understand too that some don't. The magnet flipped on some things and it's going away. So don't be so obsessive over your wants and needs that you're not willing to let something else be free. And that's very 11th house. And even the sun coming into your 9th house. There's you just have to understand that everybody should be free. And the ones that want to be free together will be free together. And that will help you have the best love, the most passionate connections, all the qualities out of relationships you could possibly want. But there just can't be, I think, a ton of rules on it. And I think this Mars is going to show that in the 11th house. There's just different little things with this opposition to Pluto in Aquarius, which Aquarius, even 5th house, you're not really supposed to love in a traditional way. You're just kind of supposed to be a little unique lovers. So this is a good, I think, just realization of how balanced relationships are maybe different than what we always thought they would be. And maybe it's Libras that are at the forefront of showing what that looks like, whether they have to experience it or whether they're kind of literally in the driver's seat saying relationships have to start being merged together differently. Even Saturn in the 6th is yeah, you can change things up here a little bit. Some of these, routines and some of these, step-by-step processes to get things done don't really need to be there. Or some of these rules, can be adjusted. So Saturn's adjusting things in the 6th house. And Mercury's there with the sextile. Your ruling planet's in the 10th. Yeah, it's interesting. I feel like the Libras are going to find some really deep connection through this, and it's going to be different whether they have the same, whether you're in a relationship and you kind of go through this time. There's just relationships are going to look a little different. They're going through a transformation that's helping you get more, in essence, like quality out of your anything that you're really bonded with, whether it is a relationship or something else. Helping get more return for your energetic investments. But it can definitely, I mean, it can definitely with like Jupiter and the North Node and these, this big T square and really grand cross, like it's very testy for trust in yourself, trust in others, knowing your value, being confident, even if things are moving away from you, to still maintain confidence, to kind of see where the future can go, to make things, equal. That's really important. And I think, with Venus, you're really, like, the more you can take on the responsibility and the maturity to, listen to people emotionally, to listen to people mentally, whatever it is, like, to take in and be very supportive, but also to be sort of, right, like, kind of mother, father, energy that's like helping guide the way. I think that's something that would be, extremely helpful for you too, is like just to always try and look at things from a more mature place that'll bring more harmony and balance in, even though it can feel dark at times. Like there's a lot of eighth house, and the eighth house, we have to go kind of walk through our fears there many times. So by walking through fears, you're learning more trust. You're learning a lot more about your own empowerment, and you're learning how to merge that with people, and I think how to do it in a way that's actually putting you in more of the leader role, right? And, not that Libra are not leaders, but the archetype in general is more of, it's the opposite of Aries, right? Where Aries is the leader, starts things. Libra's a little bit more of that passive energy, but it's not. Like, let's be honest, Libras are savage. They're also Saturn's exalted there for a reason. So, yeah. That's what I got for you, Libra. All right, Scorpio. I need a sip of this. Appreciate you all for watching. All right, Scorpio. 7th house. Lots of relationship stuff. Lots of balance. Bringing things into harmony. I think seeing the beauty in things, very important for you. Quality of connection with others. Just making sure too that like everything's getting a big, huge magnifying glass on it if it's out of alignment. So you have to be able to identify that and not like have your personal desires kind of not see the truth of what the actual scales are looking like in your life. And as long as you're just, a good sort of negotiator and very diplomatic and not too overpowering, whatever it is with any relationship you have in your life, whether it's romantic, to a business, to a whatever, job, work, it doesn't matter. As long as you're not too stuck in your own way and you can see other sides, everything is going to come into a more harmonious place. So I think that's an outstanding thing, and I think that the more you can even put effort into people, whether it's just listening to them or actually if you're in a relationship, right, being that partner in someone's life, like you'll see that there's so much quality there. And likewise, if you don't see quality there, like stop identifying with something that's not there. Like both, it all kind of plays. So wherever the scales are at, Scorpio, it's just like paying attention to that truth and not trying to think that you can will it to go your way or how you want it to be. And look, Mars in your ninth, Cancer, and Venus there, for a little while here, willing it, the way you believe it probably did work. So that's good. But in the 10th, it just gets more real, and you're going to have to be more responsible about a lot of that, with it squaring the nodes, opposite Pluto in your 4th. It's just going to have to be more responsible and be more, delegated, or not delegated, but diplomatic, because it is square Jupiter too. And I think the more you take responsibility for anything you're getting in alignment with Mars and Leo, it's going to be better, and you're going to feel like you're putting in really solid quality work. And Mars wants to get stuff done in the 10th. It likes to be there. It wants to be seen. It wants to do stuff. And I think this is a great opportunity to do stuff, to share journeys, to share beliefs with people, to put in the effort to find the alignment and to come to the truth of what that alignment is. Like the actual truth. Not just what you want it to be, but really what it is. So, it is positive for, I think, getting stuff done here for you. Like, there's a lot of fixed energy. So it's definitely like initiating for you and trying to get the ball moving forward and like really put the final touches on like anything that's out of order. So it's just becoming very clear. And the sun's going to come into your 8th house. And yeah, that's going to, again, that's going to really show desires. Not bad, but that's where the 8th house is interesting, because we can have these deep desires and they either pan out and we're stoked and we're like, yes, and we're empowered, or, they go the other way, like those magnets I was talking about with Libra, and we get upset and it feels harsh or betrayed or something. So hopefully sun coming in there isn't like showing and expressing levels of disappointment for anything going the opposite way. But again, there's a lot of truth about whatever you have a relationship to, and if it's good for you or not, and if it works, and if it is built for the future, the long term here. And the sun coming in the 8th over this next lunation too could be like, oh, all these, everything's starting to come into your 8th. Which I think is great for you, because you are a Scorpio, and Scorpio in 8th house is same archetypal energy, really. So, I feel like you're good at this, and it's a great opportunity to alchemize everything and bring into a really good harmonic place in your life. Saturn's making great aspects to Mercury. You can't suppress your love with Saturn in the 5th. The best thing you could do is speak from your heart. Not from not from your genitals. Speak from the heart. And yeah, I think it's a great opportunity to just be honest and truthful about whatever it is. And a lot of it has to do with like happiness with Saturn in the 5th. If you're happy and you're in love and you're in a relationship, tell the person that you're happy in love and show, like Saturn's like kind of like holding back a little bit here. Like express love, share love, talk about love. And if you're not having that, then this is the time to talk like about what's out of alignment, because maybe you want some love in your life and you're like, hey, can you get some? And if you're not in a relationship and you're not looking, like, again, what makes you happy and why are you, like, I feel like you're going to see what it is. Everything's going to make sense. And you're like, oh yeah, that was silly. Like, I actually understand now why that was out of alignment, because I didn't even find it happy. I didn't even enjoy it. It wasn't fun. So that's super helpful for you. And then also Neptune. Gosh, if you dream of love right now, if you dream of romance, if you want a relationship, outstanding. Go manifest it. Go talk. Don't just spend time alone. Don't just spend time at home, Pluto in the fourth. In a little cave somewhere, under a rock. Got to get out. Mars is going to help you do that in the 10th. Like, it will help you want to get out. And yeah, this is like great opportunities for, I think, building more confidence to know that you don't have to control every situation. Not everything has to go the way you desire it to, for it to be abundant, for it to be fun, but also to envision things that'll be in alignment, to see the beauty in what can happen if you do take action, and if you do make, whether it's hard choices or just any choice at all, to have conversations, to talk about what you feel inside and what's going on, and then how to go back and forth about your truth and another person's truth. All of that will help out a lot. But it is a lot of people stuff for you, so I feel like whatever relationships, whether it's friends, it doesn't really matter. There's a big focus on that. And that's where a lot of quality wants to manifest in your life. But it is that, point two, where if there isn't quality, you got to do something about it. Or if you want that, again, you have to do something about it. So ball's in your court, which is outstanding. Just be fair and a good, I keep wanting to say debater, but a good diplomat. All right, Saggy. 6th house. Jupiter now in the 6th. Yeah, it's just a lot. Again, like, can feel like a lot of mundane, a lot of this, a lot of that. Like, everything's kind of getting a focus, and everything's like really coming into focus. If there's any blurred lines, everything's really obvious right now. It's really apparent. There's nothing that you're just not gonna see. Like, you're just it's too black and white. You're extremely, this is a good time to focus and be analytical and pay attention, like, straight up. I know that the fantasy world is great with that South Node, but gosh, new moon here in your 6th, like, paying attention, being on top of things in your life, being on a routine, on a schedule, like sleeping in all day probably isn't, super beneficial for you right now. Like, even though you could feel like it could feel good because they are still in a little trine. But Saturn's like trying to have you build, I think, an inner foundation here with this energy, and with Mercury and with Jupiter, your ruling planet, coming into the 6th, like, to really hone in on a foundation that can get somewhere, that makes sense. So take the dreams, but start doing it. Take everything that you feel inside and start molding reality. This is your chance to mold reality. But you can only do it if you participate in it. So it's like, if you want to do a service, if you want to provide something, if there's healing work that you want to do, great opportunity. Bring that. Bring all the fantasy, bring all the spirituality to everyday reality. Like, they can't be separate anymore for Sag. Can't be like, oh, I'm going to go off on a vision quest, like you've already kind of done those things. So now it's like bringing all that you've learned, all that wisdom, whether it's subconscious wisdom, just spiritual wisdom, bring it into reality. And I think this is going to be a great, it could be great for Sagittarius in terms of like providing, whether it's some kind of service, I feel like Sagittarius are going to be a little less, they're going to be more selfless during this time too. Like, there's 6th house energy that's very humbling. And it might feel like you're going through a humbling moment in some sense, but it's just making you better so that you can provide and like be more helpful and more giving. But yeah, definitely showing every little speck of everything. So participate in that, and I think be open to changing your day-to-day life if you need to, paying attention to your health. Are you consuming good things? Are you consuming trash? Like, very important for Sag to, like, at least to, and look, I'm not here to tell you what's trash and what's good for you. Like, that's for you to decide, but just think about that for your own life. If you ever have that thought, like, I shouldn't be doing this because it's not good for me, maybe it's not good for you. Like, that's where all this sixth house is hitting. So listen to that. Good aspects to Neptune, though. Good aspects to Mars. Good aspects to Pluto. I mean, there's just good aspects going on all over. Like, I feel like you'll get, like, heavily rewarded for any adjustment that you make, and you'll realize that any effort put in there has return on investment. And Mars coming into your ninth is great. Like, I feel like that just makes things more positive. So if things have been kind of, like, Mars can identify with some deep stuff. Like, it can like the dark a little too much in the eighth, or it's a little too heavy set on its desires, its wants, its needs, how to get something, how to get into everything it wants. Now it's like there's a little shift here. It's more expansive. This is more about growth. And I think it's more about like an inner growth that's helping you almost be more of service to the world by taking care of yourself better. But seeing the positive. Like, Mars in the ninth definitely sees things positive, and it wants to go on the journey, and you're a Sag, and I think that that's huge for you, because Jupiter in Taurus isn't, like, the best place for you to have Jupiter, I'll be honest. Kind of, it shrinks things, but you have to shrink things to see the bigger picture and identify with more right now. Like, there's an aha that's coming. But it's only through the here and the now and kind of day-to-day life and the mundane, like, again, like the vision quest or an ayahuasca ceremony or just some party isn't going to give you the tools you need to make the right changes in reality. It's actually by being here. It's by the present moment and feeling everything. That's super important. And then, yeah, coming into seventh house stuff. So, again, like, little changes that you make now, the sun's going to come into your seventh, and, like, this is going to help you build relationships. It's going to help you relate better. So, there's a lot of purification going on that's just bringing things, it's going to make things more clear about what's in alignment, what's out of alignment, how to relate, how to understand, how to be more empathetic to yourself, maybe to others, how to know when also to, like, stop. Like, there's, like, control, I feel like, that's like, it's like self-control with Saturn in the fourth. Knowing when enough is enough. Trusting your body, trusting your emotions. Very important. So yeah, this is a great opportunity. Purification, changing, taking things on, putting in effort and exploring different routes and, different truths, and helping you find the proper alignment there. And I think also believing, like, you still have to believe in yourself through all of this, which I would hope any Sagittarius has no issue believing in themselves. But this is like a great time to, clean up the trash where you stop believing in yourself. And then watch the purification, transformation happen. Capricorn, stacked fifth. Pretty cool. Pretty solid place to have all this energy, not gonna lie. Cap's kind of lucked out. Very expressive, very creative. Capricorn should be starting something creative, doing something, sharing showing themselves, dancing, singing, laughing. It doesn't really matter. The Capricorn should really hold nothing back at this point. Like for the first time in a very long, not the first time, but look, you got a little taste of nothing in your first house. I don't know if you remember 2020, but everything was in your first house, and Pluto's been there since 2008. And yeah, it's going to touch back in, but then short, you know? Like, this is amazing for you to show who you've become, who you've transformed into, to be more expressive. I mean, you have these creative qualities. It's time to show them off. You know, show what you're capable of. Show what you're here to do. It's also outstanding for romance, love, you know, kids. You know, there's probably some Capricorns out there, Cap risings, that maybe you're older. Maybe you have grandkids. Like, this could be huge for, you know, spending more time around kids and grandkids. You know, playing. There's a play quality to the fifth house. Like, it's fun. You know, there's this excitement to it, but there's, you know, it's almost like it's like teenage fun at the same time too. Like, you kind of have to gamble and risk it a little bit. You know, it's almost like the most fun times when you're a teenager. You kind of had to sneak away to go do a little bit. I'm not saying be sneaky by any means, but like, you got to bring some level of like excitement that kind of gets you pumped up. Like, this is your opportunity to like pump it up a little bit. And that'll probably bring out the creativity a little bit more, however that needs to. Pluto in the second with the squares to Jupiter. Again, it's like this is a battle of confidence, self-worth. Like, knowing that you can express yourself and show yourself, and you're worth it, and you're worth love. And you should definitely love yourself. And you should have fun. And what's the quality of life if it's not fun? Just work? Just a paycheck? Just a career? But like no happiness? That's not a good balance. Venus wants you to be balanced. Mars does for a little bit. It is opposite Pluto, but then Mars is going to come into your 8th house, which I think is amplifying desires big time. Like, especially if you desire more happiness, or changing a belief around how to connect with somebody, or how to connect with what you really want, whether it's goals, achievements, you know, bigger visions. Like, this is like a very penetrating time for you. And I think it wants you to break out, and it wants you to find a lot of courage and a lot of energy to go get something that you want, because it's something that makes you happy, whatever that is. There's just certain things, like when you're happy, you express yourself more. When we're sad, or when we're just like not feeling good about ourselves, like we're not very expressive, like we just kind of chill there. If we're just kind of like blah, any Capricorn has to figure out why they're like that, ditch it, and start expressing themselves because they're having a damn good time in life. It's about finding what a quality of life is, and really making sure that it's merging with happiness, and it's merging with people, and it's sharing, and it's being giving, and it's receiving, and it's being romantic. There's a lot of quality in this. But again, you can block yourself from it 100% if you're going to just hide behind insecurities and not think that you're good enough, or doubt yourself. Like, you'll bury yourself. That's, Chiron in your 4th, and even Mars coming into your 8th, which is sexy as hell. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's like passionate, go get it, like energy. But it can be a little, a little dark too. So you are trying to legitimately shine your light into any dark situation so that you can penetrate and get deeper into your happiness, into creative potential. And look, the South Node's in your 11th. Like, you don't have to really worry about what other people think. If you are happy and you enjoy it and you want to express it, that's all that matters. This is like a really important time for Capricorns to remember that. Because they'll put on a mask, right? And just, like put on their suit and be the public figure and, not. It reminds me of like Patrick Bateman. Like time to really show who you are, basically. And that's the important thing. And don't just try to please the world for anything. And don't put so much focus on like necessarily everyone else. Like, yeah, I think that you genuinely, with the South Node in the 11th, you probably do want to see some kind of equality for everybody, but that's fine. Just make sure that you're also giving it to yourself. And that's love that you need to give to yourself. Sun's going to come into your 6th. Could potentially be kind of like a balloon popping from all this, a day of all this 5th house stuff. But I think it's just having you make the proper changes and see things for what they are so that you can purify your day-to-day life that meets up with more quality, more happiness, more merger, better relationships, and a more unique version of yourself. Also, Saturn, of course, rules your sign and great aspects to Mercury in your 5th. I feel like it's super important for you to express, for you to talk, for you to share, for you to come to your own like responsible understanding of, I need to be happy. I need to express happiness. I can't just hide behind anything that's fake. It's got to be like 100% real and authentic. So, I mean, pretty dope for Capricorn. Like, of course, it's got its things. Everybody's got their things going on right now with Mars opposite, Pluto and these Jupiter squares and these nodal squares. It's there's a lot going on right now. But I think this new moon is like, how can you transmute energy that's trying to keep you from your happiness and just your self-expression? And whatever you got to do, choose your happiness and choose yourself and choose the things that make you happy. And you'll do great and bring things into alignment and merge with great energy and have good talks and make more money. And all the things that you do want, you'll get more of because you found your true essence of yourself and your creative potential through confidence and happiness. Aquarius, 4th house. A lot of family stuff, home stuff. It's just a lot of inner stuff. I mean, it's like really deep identification stuff too. It's like a deep, it's like real ego stuff, to be honest with you, because it's stuff that, especially for you, Aquarius isn't often going to share every emotion that they feel. There's, things that they actually, Aquarius value emotion. They have a Taurus 4th house. They feel secure and really but they keep it to themselves, mine. So this is a good time, I think, to build more quality of upping the quality of your feelings. Jupiter's here now too. It's just like your emotions have quality. That's one of the beautiful things. And I think that they're powerful, and I think you can manifest a lot of things right now when it comes to whether it's your home life, family, close personal relationships, everything in your personal life. There's a great opportunity for abundance here. A really good opportunity. But it's like you have to accept the feeling, and you can't try to stay disconnected in any way from the truth of the feeling. It's so important to embrace whatever you're feeling, because everything that you feel, you see. I mean, this is your 4th house energy. It's nobody else feels or sees things like you do. It's very individual. So you have to really focus in on yourself right now. This is a big time to focus in on yourself, your emotions, feelings. what needs to get done based on that? What needs to move forward? What needs to get built? How do I lay this foundation? Because again, like I've said, this foundation within you is the most sturdy thing for you. And as soon as you have that stability, you can build up the biggest, most innovative, craziest skyscraper you've ever seen. Or a tree fort, or a spaceship, whatever you're into, Aquarius. I get it. My moon's there. We like weird shit. Whatever you want to build up from that foundation, like just make sure it's of quality to you, and don't try and be aloof to your emotions. They're very valuable right now. They're trying to help you manifest more comfort and security within yourself. And whether it's a house, project or family, something, the groundwork, the things that are in your everyday personal life are crucial right now. So make sure that you're paying attention to them, putting the effort in. Because again, South Node in the 10th, like opposing all of this, it's not going to matter if you put on a mask for a public image. It doesn't matter what other people think of you. It matters what everybody in your life thinks of you. It matters how you feel about everything in your actual environment in life. And is it of quality? Does it feel good? Do you feel safe? Do you feel safe in your own body? This is the new moon to figure out the next step of quality and the next step of abundance, of feeling safe in your body. Right? In this meat suit. You know what I'm talking about, Aquarius. Gotta feel comfortable in this meat suit. All right? So it's super important, like, amplify that self-worth. Feel more secure in your body, in your emotions, in your home. If you don't have those things, initiate and start building and getting them in alignment. But you don't have to worry so much about if other people are going to think it's cool or not. It doesn't matter. Pluto's still in your first, Mars opposing that. Mars is going to come into your 7th house, which I think is good because you do have Pluto in your first and this 4th house stuff. A lot of it is very like centered for you right now, and it's supposed to be. But Mars is going to desire to have talks, to communicate. People can make you angry though, so you have to balance that out. Like, not everybody is going to understand this. You might not even understand that area of your life. It's so personal. But it's good to express it. And again, one of your ruling planets, Saturn, with Mercury in sextile. Being able to express what's going on inside and what you value is crucial to this foundation. You just have to, you gotta relate to people. It's good. Tell people how you feel. Talk about your emotions. Speak to somebody. Seriously, if you need to talk to somebody and like express emotion, somebody will want to listen. I do believe that. They might have some advice with Mars opposite Pluto that'll trigger you. Or it could, bring up a sensitivity. But that's a good reflection too. So it's just like, don't get upset at people right now. That would be like where things are kind of like, ooh, that could be kind of hard. Sun's going to come into your 5th. The more you feel, the more happy you will be, the more you have that base lined up in your life, the more you can express and create because you feel secure. So you just gotta, I think you gotta it's like level out with yourself so that you can level out with others and maybe what your goals are, and, make sure there's a good balance, make sure there's a good mix. And, it's time to initiate by what you really feel and not by what you think. Or, changing the thought pattern to talk with the emotions more. And I think, for maybe many of you, it's like just really amplifying and using your emotional intelligence so that you can create more happiness, more positive relationships in your life and get things into order. And it can feel like there's a lot of pressure on you emotionally to do something, to get things in place, or to refortify a foundation, or just to amplify your confidence and your self-worth. So whatever situations, whether it's dealing with people or jobs or something else, that reflection is just trying to show you how you can shore up your foundation so that you can create more. Whether the foundation's good right now, it can always get a little bit better. Like sometimes we always got to go back to the basement and like do a little bit of repair work. Sometimes we just need to build the basement. So yeah, depending on where you're at, and look, Pluto's in your sign now, you might all be feeling like the whole house needs to come down and you just got to start over fresh. Some of you, some won't. It's 20 years. So, just saying. But, yeah, it's just inner work for you right now. It's just listening to your emotions, speaking up, talking about emotions, trying to understand other people's desires, because yours can be very prominent and it can be very about you. And again, it's good to be that way right now. You got to focus on yourself. That's the only way you'll understand yourself. But you have to figure out some way to balance that, or it's just going to be very triggering and it could be an emotional mess at the same time. So it is important to, again, also, be Aquarian and objective and kind of peeled back and see things, see the bigger picture. It'll be extremely helpful in whatever shoring up you're doing or whatever you're adding on, because you could be amplifying your personal life now too and starting to create more and really empowering yourself. And that's very positive too. Pisces, third house. Mental. But also, I think this is looking for stimulation. I think it's time to make some adjustments, Pisces. Like, it's okay to switch things up. It's okay to try something else, Like, you don't have to get stuck on anything here. Like, you can make any change you need to, any adjustments. Pay attention to just the truth of the matter. Like, there's a truth in the now. What's the truth in the now? What's the truth today? You don't have to get stuck on anything. So I think the more you can be mentally adaptable, the better. It could be a great time to speak up, to say what you have to say, to put your truth out there, to have talks, to listen at the same time. So listening's very powerful. You don't have to know it all. It's important to go back and forth. Debates. But it is mental, and you could be learning a lot, saying a lot, maybe bringing a lot of wisdom. At the same token, the environment could be changing a lot. Jupiter's, a lot of the little stuff, but like could be more car trips, could be more moving around. It's just not going to be a very like stationary time necessarily. But I think the sun also coming into your fourth during this lunation is definitely putting more of a focus on the personal life, the home life, family, emotions, and making good aspects to Pluto in your 12th. So it's like it's very deep stuff. And this deep stuff is like a very spiritual moment of really, I think, trusting. I think it is like definitely a trust in the unknown, to be willing to, I think, make little adjustments and talks, or to have talks, make little adjustments, to just maybe try a few things at once and see what sticks, so that you can, really see what the foundation is and how it feels. Because it's very mental right now, and then it is going to start shifting into more feeling, which, I feel like feelings, that's your gift, So all this mental is like kind of a pain. I feel like for Pisces, it's like a lot of in the head stuff. But I know sometimes feeling's a pain for you too, because you just can't stop. And you're just open. You feel things before other people. You feel someone else's emotions before they feel it, and you're like, what the F? You don't feel that? But that's where when it gets to that place mentally, and it's like, it's hard. It's hard to understand. But again, like the more I think you can stay like almost busy or creative or just kind of in projects, I think the better. Like, keep yourself stimulated, because if you get bored here, you're gonna feel really lost, I feel like, when the stimulation's in staying engaged. Of course, Mars is going to come into your 6th house, start to oppose Pluto, finishing up in your 5th. So hopefully, you're feeling like you got some really like creative identification going, and now you're ready to kind of merge that with some kind of purification from God that could feel like really weird, maybe humbling in some sense, to help you come to that purification process. And Mars in the 6th doesn't suck, though. It should give you a lot of like, just, you kind of be like a well-oiled machine. Just kind of keep going. Just get things done. Especially like when it comes to cleaning up situations, if it deals with home life, things that aren't stimulating, maybe you'll be cleaning those up too and adding more stimulating projects to your schedule. Pay attention to your health. I will say Mars in the 6th can bring up health stuff. Mars is such an activator that I've noticed in my life, and it could be because I'm Aries rising, but just one of my own personal things since I've been doing this is every time Mars comes into my 6th, I do get sick. Usually it's something I feel like that I just need. Like, I need to get some kind of antibodies, if you will, for whatever is going around in this ridiculous world that we live in. And it does like make you stronger. So possible, for some of you, that maybe some kind of little something comes along just to, again, give you more strength in the end. But that could be frustrating opposite Pluto, because you could, feel like you have to get so much done. And then if anything happens to where you can't, that's frustrating. So I don't know. What keeps you mentally engaged? What do you want to learn? What do you want to read? Do you want to write? I think it'd be a great time for Pisces to write. Write a book about your personal stuff. Ooh, let everybody know about the inside of a Pisces. And I don't know, you'll start dialing in your day-to-day life. Could be a little intense, though. Maybe, it's just a lot of pressure, again, on Jupiter in your 3rd at the same token. So it could be a very stressful time, and I know that you don't like that, but it's like, you got to channel that into something. Like, you can't just sit with so much activity in your mind and do nothing, because you are going to feel like you're going to go crazy. So you just got to do something with what you're thinking. Anything that you make real from thought will be good. Anything that you don't do and just storyland in your head is just like, be careful. I will say that. Saturn, Mercury, very good aspect. Again, you're finding a lot of authority within yourself, and that's good. Don't block that. And I think you need to speak up. There's probably a lot that Pisces need to say. So say it. Just have the conversation. It's good. You will see that it paid off if you do. And even if you have that talk with this exact crazy aspect, yeah, it might get serious. It might get, might be some dogmatic energy going at a debate. Two sides just not willing to budge. But still, if you need to have a talk, just have the talk. It'll benefit you in finding security and making changes that are necessary. But yeah, you just got to do something with the mental. Put it into anything that's stimulating and feels good to you. If you just sit with a bunch of thought, if it's negative or if it's just chaos, that is a bad place for a Pisces to be. So please channel your mind into something. It'll make you feel so good and stimulated, and it wants to help you create. So it's good. Just do it. Don't do nothing. I'll just sit and these thoughts will go away. I would usually, maybe, but I feel like for you, I mean, eventually, yes, but do you really want to go through that? It sounds very uncomfortable. All right. Appreciate you all. Thanks for the super chat. Who left that? Did it go away? Oh. 8th house. Thank you. All right. Well, Lauren and I... Oh, there's Lauren. Hi, Lauren. Oh, yeah. She's always Virgo rising around here. Thank you for keeping our apartment so clean, because you do a great job. Some people are legit liars. That is true. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Monday night too. That should be good. I'm excited. There's just so much to talk about. I can't wait to see who's in it and who shows up, and we're all going to go through it together. It's going to be sweet. Whether we all just go through basics together, which is kind of where I'm starting out, I'm thinking, but I don't know if everybody that joins is like already got the basics down. I'm not going to waste your time. But if we want to, crack everything and kind of all do this together, I'll go there. And Lauren and I are going to do a live tonight. We're trying to do a new setup. So hopefully I'm going to take this time now, between now and 7, and try and get that dialed in. It's interesting. It's cool. I hope it works. It's techie. It's techie. That stuff's fun to me though. I like cracking some weird tech code. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed these horoscopes. I hope they help you. I hope everybody has a great new moon. In essence, this is manifesting something in that area of your life, and it can be extremely abundant. And it's potent, and it's almost like we've all been waiting for this skip step to come to fruition. So, congratulations, and enjoy your life. Create value. Find happiness, love, balance, people. This life is just filled with gifts all around us, so let's go use them. All right, much love, everybody. Peace.